All right, yeah, we in. We good. And right now, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on YouTube. Let me let a couple people in the room. Steve said today he here for more than just the intro. So we getting active today.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 106 of Dot Connect Wednesdays. Today is August 20th, 2025. I'm Champ Bobbitt. This is Steve Bayonne. Before we get into the steak and potatoes, Steve got some earth-shattering stuff going on, man. Today he cracked the code. So he about to unleash, strap in, take your notes. You know what I mean? Make sure you got somebody here with you. If they not here with you right now, get them on the line right now. Tell them. We live on YouTube too. All right, YouTube, what's going on out there? Steve.
All
Yeah.
right. So if you remember, you understand what I went through yesterday on my downtime. So today was me time, and I was in full control of what happened today. So I was in Cartagena this morning. I left out, and I wanted to stop off in Barranquilla. My wife is on here, so I gotta say things correctly. Barranquilla. So Barranquilla is a coastal town city, very developed, and it's known for manufacturing. Okay. Health in Colombia is the health industry is one of the best in the world, right? There's some rumblings of things not being so good, but that's at a different level. If you know what you're looking for, you can get a lot out of the health system in Colombia. So Barranquilla is one of the two places that you would go if any issues happen. Santa Marta is still a little bit rough, still growing. So if you needed anything major, it would be Bogota, right? I'm talking about they're already doing AI and remote surgeries from doctors in India and China. This is all the stuff I'm learning today. Now, if you know, one of my biggest issues with being out here is the suppression of me not being able to ask questions to learn, right? Because of the language barrier, I have to kind of fly over things and kind of leave things alone. I got to read in between the lines, and it's just taking me a lot of time, which is cool. I'm not worried about that. But I tend to find learning, and I tend to connect dots in questioning, right? As much as I talk, I love to question too when I'm around the right person. So I stop off in Barranquilla, is the halfway point between Santa Marta and Cartagena, right? Beautiful town, very advanced. So I was doing research. One of the main reasons why, one of the reasons that I'm out here is to continue on my health journey and understand that there is more out here. When I look at the American health system, I knew that there wasn't enough. Every test that we want to take from our primary care, he tells me no. He's like, insurance won't cover it. And I hate no, but if I'm part of a public system, I kind of have to deal with the way they are. My health, the way I approach my health is through preventative measures. Okay. I had a reading a long time ago, and they said that in one of my past lives, and you don't have to believe it or not, but it resonates with me. I was in a lab. They saw me in the lab, and I was disturbed. So it looked like the lab ran out of funding, and whatever I was working on, it just didn't materialize. So if anybody knows me, I'm big on the herbs. I'm big on grounding, breath work, sound therapy, sound bowls, tuning forks. Like, I just jump from thing to thing. I have ADHD when it comes down to like picking up different health practices. Right. That's just the journey I'm on. That's the only thing I really do enjoy at the end of the day, outside of teaching, kind of depending on the day. But I find real joy in that. So you guys know the reading, and I've been honest with you guys with the vocabulary. Sometimes I fudge my words, and my man is here to pick it up where I drop the ball. So when something is how can I put it? When something really interests me, like, I really go deep, right? So my wife sends me, before I go there, let me just show you. Okay. So I'm downloaded to my wife. So when I went to Barranquilla, they have this medical center that I just wanted to check out, right? I'm like, I'm not going to drive past this thing to have to come back. Let me go. And I was already doing my research. So there's medical centers out here that you can go to with no insurance, cash pay, and they can literally, if you need an MRI, if you need an MRI of your heart, your brain, MRIs are like for everything. They can tell you things about you that are going to kind of outlook into the future. That's what I'm all about, right? In America, there's no way you can get an MRI, even if your brain is bleeding. they would be like the last thing, like, let's just bandage it up and call us in the morning, right? So I knew when I was coming out here that even my wife and I too, we were going to take advantage of this system that was out here. So before she left, she ran her blood work and all things, and now it's my turn now, right? So you can have private nurses come to your home, wherever you're at, and they'll run the blood work for you. And then you place your order. And I'm talking about like 30 items between blood, urine, stool, you name it. Anything that you need is there. And there's no questioning. There's no, do you have insurance? Your insurance won't cover it. There's just a price point. The fee of the blood work can be 10 to 15 times if you ran it privately in America. And we run our own, and we've taught you at the academy too, when we focus on health and wellness, that there are places that you can get your own blood work, right? Metal tests, all sorts of things that they would never test for, even if you ask your doctor for it. And I know it because I've asked my primary care, hey, can you run a metal test? And he's like, no, the insurance won't cover it. And he's like, on top of that, what would you do with the information? And I'm like, bro, it's time to retire. So they don't want you to know how much metal is in your body. They don't want you to know anything. Okay. I'm a self-healer, and not that I don't believe in the medical system. I don't believe in the American way of approach to medical. If I break something, I'm not trying to snap the thing back together to stitch and do all that other stuff. Right. So I do the research in Vatican, and mind you, I didn't set any appointment. It was just really to go see, collect information, and then kind of come back later. It's not too far, a couple hours. So once I get off, I'm early. So I have about an hour before, things started. Some of the offices weren't fully open or they were out to lunch, whatever. It was like an in-between part. So I pull up and there's I'm not going to say the name of the chain, but it's in America too. And I was like, let me just put something in my body real quick before I get to moving and forget to eat. So I go in there, and then right next door is this. I see it.
Yep.
HBOT, hyperbolic chamber. Boom. All right. So I eat. I said, yep. They threw it right in my lap. So I've been researching hyperbaric, not deep researching, but just always telling my wife, like, we're going to have one of these in our house. And if you don't know anything about it, go ahead and do the research. I'm not going to give you guys the background of what it is. But if you have tens of thousands and sometimes even more, you can have access to a chamber in your own home. Michael Jackson had it. They said he damn near slept in it. The short of it is, guys, it can elevate. It creates just high levels of oxygen when you have this mask on and you're in this chamber, right? So they manipulate it to where you get so far up that they end up taking it off, and then it brings your body back down. So what it's doing is there's oxygen that doesn't go to certain parts of your body. In my health journey in the last 3 years, I've been only focused on one thing: blood flow, right? The minute the blood stops to flow, that's when all problems happen. This is why when you get a massage or you go somewhere, they're always like, breathe into the area. Most Americans can't process that, but there's a reason for it, because what happens is the diseases is in all of us, right? Now, depending on what you do with your life and how much you beat yourself up. So when they say stress kills, this is the part of it that people don't really realize. So you want to breathe into areas that don't really get the blood flow, because where there's no blood flow, there's no oxygen, things start to die. Diabetes, heart issues. And then when one organ's not working, best believe you're going to be on that ride for a little bit. Now, I'm talking to my wife about the excitement of going into this chamber today that I didn't even schedule. They took me in, no insurance. All right. And the doctor, they were able to speak English in there. So I was able to have like the time of my life. So I'm still in a euphoric stage right now. And on top of it, there was two things that happened. My wife shared we have a chiropractor that lives near us, and they're trying to get a hyperbolic chamber in their practice. So she was like, oh, such and such sent me a link, and she just shared it. So as I'm on the bus ride back leaving, I'm telling her that it feels like I just got reborn. Right? I'm full of energy. There's no real low point, and I get this brain fog. Like, I don't have that. So for me to come out of this chamber and just my whole body just felt different. So if you don't know anything about it, please just do a little bit of research on it. Just go to ChatGPT. It'll give you the basis of it. The practitioner that lives in our neighborhood, he says they're looking to get one. It's really expensive. And he was like, there's nobody in the area that has it. There's money that's in the area that we live in. So it's not like these people don't have access to capital. It's just that the American way is not about healing. So my wife has this thing with, you can either cope or you can heal, right? And we're on this healing journey. Coping, yeah, you lock it up and you got to deal with it. A couple of years ago, I realized that there's emotions that are stored in every organ. So my low is my eyes. I've been diagnosed with this thing called uveitis. It's inflammation of the eye. It's a blockage, right? They've never been able to find it. I've been dealing with this journey for over a decade, right? The first place you go, especially when you're young and you don't really know how things work at the time, you go to lens crafters. Something's wrong with your eye, you go to lens crafter. Go to lens crafter, then that leads me to no, it's not that. You got to go to a specialist, and then boom, 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 and then finally I get to some of the top specialists in the world that are dealing with this. Right, I found a doctor at AI Institute in Pennsylvania, and this is like years, like probably like 8 years after I've been diagnosed with the uveitis situation. It pains me to have to take topical drops when this thing happens, and there was no rhyme or reason. So that led me to the journey of not drinking alcohol anymore, solely because of that. So I completely stopped drinking alcohol, changed my lifestyle, started looking at the diet, and then other things happened too. So I've been honest, I've been open with you guys to tell you that my father has Parkinson's and dementia. So I'm kind of on this ride, and I connected the dots with that. And it really spawned from diabetes, as when I was still living in the house with him. We didn't know that he was diabetic. He never took it serious. So then diabetes leads to a whole bunch of other things. Right. So I started to understand how sugar processes in the body, and he just didn't take it serious. And one thing led to another. Then you have diabetic seizures that go unchecked, and then you continue the same diet. And then the end result of it is dementia and Parkinson's. Right. So it wasn't my battle to help him out of that. I didn't have the tools then the way I have them now. So things happen for obvious reasons in life, and I'm not here to like fight or control anything. So now I have not all the tools, but I have a good amount of tools to work through things. But again, when you get so far gone with certain ailments and diseases, there's really no reversing it. So even these glasses, I told my wife, I said, all right, two things. The uveitis, I had told myself one day, because I was kind of listening to just the power of thought. And it doesn't matter what somebody puts in front of you. If you believe it's going to work, you have to have the belief that it's going to work. This is why cancer patients are so stuck on just chemo, right? Because they feel like this is what's going to help me. I'm not a strong believer in killing every cell in your body just for a localized area. It's a blessing that it comes out, because you can work on that if you stick to that. But the American way is zap it. They're not that dumb. They have the data, right? It's just a big business. So the uveitis, I told myself, I'm done with it. I canceled my appointments, because I started to realize that every time I had like a 6-month follow-up, even when it wasn't there, it would come down the week of, because I was thinking about it, right? So when I finally, after my final visit, I said, you know what, they're like, oh, here's your follow-up date. I said, take that off the schedule. They're like, no, you have early signs of glaucoma. That's not going to be good for you. We need to whatever. I was like, if I need you, I know where to find you. 4 years now since I had an outbreak with it. All right. Never stayed long-term on medication. That was an option. Most people would take the easy way out and cope. I chose to just heal. But the first part was thought. Then I wrestled with sciatica. You guys, if you were a student long enough 2 years ago, you realize that, I used to, the champ knows, lay down, stand up. The pain, I would never wish that on my worst enemy. I just couldn't function. But it was a way of my body telling me, sit down, you need some rest, you're doing too much. So I connected that dot. My wife and I used to go to a chiropractor, but not just any regular chiropractor. They played on energy and things like that. And I remember the girl, when I was doing the adjustments, my wife's just always on the ride with me. So she's just there. And a lot of the stuff just benefits both of us. The girl who was intaking us, I had asked, because I saw a lot of old people walking in there and they were like in pain. And I'm like, what am I doing here? It can't just be from me prolonged sitting, because I'm in shape. Sitting long could be whatever, but it's like, it's just a stress load. At the time, I had a lot going on. I was trying to do a lot for people. The stored emotion was sitting in my kidneys, which then was putting pressure on the sciatic nerve, and that's what was pinching it. It wasn't that I was this like frail, weak dude, even though you should build muscle as you get older, for sure, right? So when she said, I said, listen, how long would I need to be on this? Because the shit costs money. You buying these packages and it's 26 sessions, and then you have to refill it. And I've seen people coming in and they're not getting any better. They're just walking out of it the same way they walked in. They're just getting a little bit of relief. So coping versus healing, right? I said, I don't belong here, but I belong there for the moment, but I don't belong there. So I told myself, And even other people, they're like, no, once you have sciatica, you'll always have sciatica throughout your life. And I was like, nah, I'm not buying that. And she told me, she was like, you'll always need us. You'll always have it and you'll always need us. And then a light bulb goes off in my head and it's like, nah, no way. So we stopped the appointments after the package was done, didn't do any more packages. And I told myself, I said, listen, I'm over the sciatica thing. Power of thought, right? And it's not as easy as I make it seem, but power of thought with some work, right? Because if I continue to pile on the work and not take time out for myself or take everybody else's shit, which I feel I can carry, then it never works for me. So when I'm depleted, who the fuck do I go to? It's going to be hard, right? Because you can't find a lot of people in this world that's willing to help the way I am. So she sends me this this video about, they call HBOTs, hyperbolic chamber. And the gentleman is speaking and he has an accent because he's from another country. And I'll share with you guys at some point in the academy, right? If you're in-house, you'll get it. So I'm on the bus to go, I'm driving, well, I'm not driving, but I'm on the bus to go back to Santa Marta from leaving the hyperbolic chamber and the experience that I had. So I'm telling my wife, I'm like, it's like a euphoric, I can't find my words, but I'm like, it's like I'm reborn, right? I have this energy, this clarity, my eyes, everything is just cleared up, everything, my senses, my nose, everything just felt open when I got out the chamber. So as I'm talking to the doctor, and I'll just give the short of it without the details are great, but we had a great conversation about healing in the body. And of course, he's a traditional doctor. You see the name on the thing, you can research him. And you know, why he opened this and the difference between the coping and the healing part, the American system, understanding like AI and how that's working across the globe. I went everywhere with it. He was like, listen, you are probably the most intuitive patient that I've ever, no, I'm not even a patient. Because when you're not sick, you're not a patient. And this is what was said in the interview that I watched. So my wife shares the interview with me. We can't stay on the phone because there's no signal along the line. So it was a little frustrating to try to have a conversation. But she gave me enough of what I needed. So somehow that video was playing even when the internet was going up and down in rural areas. If you know me, I can't sit through a video. She's on like she's on 2.0 when she watches stuff. It sounds like the chipmunks. My brain doesn't process like that. So it takes me a while and I kind of stay away from like long podcasts and things like that. Right. So this was the only thing, like when things interest me, I could sit through it. So it was about an hour and change and I sat through the whole thing and I even sped it up. And then I did something that I never do with podcasts before or interviews. I took notes as it was playing because usually I have to pause it, go back, listen. And I've never really taken notes. I could retain it. This time I took notes and I said, you know what, I'm going to share it tonight on Doc Connect. So the gentleman was talking about the importance of these chambers and he's been doing his own study. There hasn't been any real clinical studies on these chambers and what they can do for your body. Right. So he takes you through this whole ride of all the stuff that they found. And you only run across advancements because of mistakes. Right. Every bit of medicine that was founded out here, one, comes from an herb. Right. And then two, it's because somebody made a mistake and they found something else. And then they come across it. And then if you have somebody intuitive enough, they grab it and they study it. Right. You got to stop trusting these professionals out here, guys. And when I say that is because I'm watching a lot of people just, oh, he's a financial advisor. Yeah, he must be right. Don't invest in crypto. Oh, he's my accountant. Oh, he's probably right. Don't do the 508. Like all of it. It irks me that people just listen to the first piece of advice that they get from what they deem a professional. There's a reason why these people are taught. There's a reason why these licenses are given to them. And I'm not taking anything to diminish them. But if you're not a thinker and you don't question things, yes, you will be one of those people who were diagnosed with cancer that weren't diagnosed, that didn't have cancer, that didn't know it, but only because the doctor's greed decided to kill you. And that's what the system is built on. All right. And I'm not a guy, money is a tool for me. I know how to make it. I know how to chill. I leave her alone at times. Champ will tell you, I'm ready to shut everything down. It doesn't matter to me because I have the gift to be able to, one, live life without it, right? Have abundance of it and not let it move me anymore because I've been humbled many times with that. So now it's like I have a care but don't care attitude with anything and all things in life because what does it matter? It doesn't. Okay. So in the interview, the guy's talking about the chambers and the effects of the chamber. Peep this. There's two ways that we manage things in life. There's managing disease and then there's managing health. Managing disease is I have X disease. So I'm going to the doctor and I need to take this prescription or I need to do this procedure. Managing disease, you have no choice. Managing health is different. It takes work. You have choice. What you put in your mouth, what you ingest in your ears, what you read, what you repeat, right? That's all managing health. Your state of mind, you're in control of that. By the point of the disease, you have no more control. And this is how they've trained us because we have to wait. We've heard doctors say, oh yeah, just wait for it to do whatever. And then you come back to us. And I'm like, that don't even sound right. And I can't believe that people fall for this, but I understand we've been all educated in the same system. I don't care if you went to private or public. The minute there's somebody in front of you teaching you something, and then you have to go regurgitate that, it has an effect on who you are and what your belief system is. And my mission on this time that I came for is not one of those to have people telling me what I need. I sit with the information, right? I get a couple different things and then I go down a rabbit hole and then I make my own informed decisions because I can feel it. All about intuition, all right? So managing disease versus managing health. Now, professional drivers, this is one of the things, and these are my talking points. It's just something I'm sharing with you guys. So if I'm not flowing great, it's because I'm reading it as I'm going. So he made a correlation to professional drivers. So when you're on a professional racetrack and you're running a race, what does the driver have to do? Pull over and go to the pit stop, right? Why does he have to go to the pit stop? Because if he doesn't go to the pit stop, his tires are guaranteed to burn out and then he's done. There's no way he could win the race. So think about it. If everybody's flying at 200 miles an hour, everybody has to stop. There's never been a driver that can continue on those tires at that rate and win the race. Because if it was, then nobody will stop. So you stop at the right time and they they take off the tires. Crazy, right? And then you're back out there, boom, and then you're going. So he says that's the same thing with health. We don't take the time out to change the tires, right? Because we only put here to do what? Work. That's it. That's the American way. Oh, I can't take a day off of work. Oh, I can't do this. But the minute that disease stops you, you're going to find those 2 weeks, right? They even give you a medical leave in America, right? For those things as they're burning you out. And then when you can't perform, guess what happens? Doesn't work. You don't work, right? So now, there's 3 major periods in your life. Write these down, guys. Number 1 is when we're kids. All right. This is when you're born and you're just young and everything is great. The second period is called the reproductive period. This is we're put here to procreate, recreate, right? So you want to give life to new life. And this is what keeps the evolution going. No context, guys. You understand where I'm going with this. We're all put here to procreate, recreate. If it's your choice not to, it's fine. Everybody has their own mission, right? The third period is going to be based on the post-reproductive. This is after you can't produce anymore. This happens. No one has ever defied that, right? Women, after a certain age, it's over. Guys, maybe men could be 80 and have babies and stuff. I've seen that, right? So you're in this, you're a child, you're in your reproductive stage. This is when you give life and you're growing things. And then you're in your post after reproductive. That's the 3, all right? So most species in life, when you look at it, after their reproductive period, 1 or 2 things happen to them. They either die or they get eaten by somebody else. The reason we're at the top of the food chain as humans is because what? We're able to continue, right, Barbara? You understand? We're able to continue no matter what age. So we have students from 18, even younger than that, all the way to 80-something years old in between that are still learning. And Barbara, I thought of you today too, and I'm glad you're on this call on the first panel as I'm looking at you, speaking to you. All right, you play a major piece in this.
Let's go.
So you either die or you get eaten. These are the other species in nature. We are all made up of nature. The reason we sit at the top of the food chain is we can continue living even after the reproductive stage. Here's the connections. We might not even get into anything but this tonight.
Let's go.
All right. Matter of fact, it ends after this.
That's it.
Well, you make the call. You decide how this goes.
Cool.
So now, the reason that you either get eaten or you die, there's no more benefit to that species to go on and live. Make sense? They physically can't have any more babies or offsprings. They're not needed anymore, so they're part of the food chain. This happens to humans too. Some people live to 100, become centennials, have great lives. Some pass as young as a child, before birth, during birth, like it just everything in between. We don't know why the timeline is the way it is. I'm not here to question that. All right. So humans stay at the top of the food chain. So as we age, we're gaining a lot of knowledge and we're evolving. Okay. And then there's also this wisdom that comes in. So anytime there's an issue with the younger generation, who do they go to? The older generation, the professional that's or somebody that just has a little bit more experience. So now we're talking about age and time evolving and wisdom. Guys, not everybody that lives, and my wife and I, we've had this before where it was like, and not that that's what her thought was, but it used to be like, damn, why, at 50 years old, you should have been figured this out. And it's like, we understand that everybody's on their own journey. So age doesn't give you wisdom. How you lived your life. Did you learn those lessons? Right? Because you could stay on the same hamster wheel. All right. So I'm a true believer in reversing your dental, because I did Invisalign. My teeth naturally, genetically, it was caving in. And most people might think it's aesthetic, but it was linked to heart issues and all sorts of stuff. So listen, I decided to just get these things back. If you watch some of my old videos, I had so much crowding at the bottom of my teeth. And it wasn't until I got on the internet. I never cared about it in life. Never have a complex about it. Didn't matter. Probably didn't show. I probably from a young age didn't show a lot of my teeth for it. Had a great smile. Never like, it was never anything that messed with who I was. But then when I got them fixed, even my daughter, she's like, daddy's really smiling now. But I'm not doing it because of anything else outside of like things shifted and things change. I just know that I don't want a weak jawline when I get older. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right with it, So there you go. So now you go to the elder because of the wisdom and the knowledge that they had, because they lived life. And guys, understand it's two things. You could be like still figuring it out as an elder, and your mistakes is somebody else's blessing. And then you could be somebody that could actually get somebody through a storm. So it all lives together. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm like, nobody even knows what to call me now, because they're like, damn, you're great. So you're like old young, and it baffles people. And now my skin is like, it's different. Like my body is different right now. I feel different. All right. And that was before the chamber. So let's get back to it. Now, so there's this biological stance. So the ability for the body to build things. All right. As it takes us down also. So you have stem cells, you have oxygen levels, like things just start to kind of deteriorate over time. It's the natural order of life. Right. So when I had the glasses and I told my wife, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna reverse this thing when I get out to Colombia. She's like, nah, that's part of aging. And I'm like, nah, I don't believe in that. I've seen it. I've heard the stories. I've read stories on people with MS, and it was always mindset. I'm taking these glasses off. I become codependent on it. And anytime you have glasses, what do you have to do? Upgrade your prescription every year. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the dental situation. There's a little bit of xylitol. You don't need dentists out here. There's a lot of things that reverse, and even you could even grow teeth back.
Facts.
But exactly, Champ knows it for a fact. And people get root canals. Root canals lead to brain aneurysms, and it's like, don't do it. But the fear in how the system is created, not saying that the dentists are evil people, but they're driven by money. Mm-hmm. You don't know if you really got a cavity. You don't know if that mechanic really took a part out of your car. We don't know. We have to just trust that the energy of people in this world, and, my wife can come on and probably add a little bit to it, but kind of losing faith in humanity. Coming out to Colombia wasn't so much about what the project that we're working on right now. I'm noticing it as a journey, being able to see a system of America, looking at it from the outside. I'm not even paying mind to it, but then just seeing another system of the way things are done. And I'm like, wait, you can go to a doctor without so my daughter had an ear infection out here. We went to a facility, saw a doctor within 10 minutes, was out of there within 15 minutes. The thing that took us the longest was going to buy the prescriptions, because one of the prescriptions, most of the people didn't have. So I was stopping and going, right? It cost under $60 to do the visit and the 3 prescriptions that she had. All right. So, in America, that's just your copay. And depending on your insurance, you're probably going to pay a lot more for the prescriptions. So when I get out the hyperbaric, the guy's feeding me this situation. Then I get this hour-long conversation about the hyperbaric chamber with these notes mixed with, I'm not going to give you what I talked about with the doctor, just to save time. So the body has the ability to build itself back. The guy was talking about reversing the aging process. I don't want my beard to go back to black. I like this. If it does, I'll take it. But this is my look. This is my avatar. But again, this is also built on some other stuff. So when he looked at me, he was like, saw my age and stuff, and he looked at the grays. He was like, "You work hard, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And even people that are like Reiki and anybody that knows energy, when they come across me and they put their hand on me, they're like, "Yo, you have a lot of energy in your body." Everyone that's touched me that understands energy, they're like, it's beyond what they feel on the regular basis, right? So good, bad, or indifferent is just who I am. I'm not trying to, do not unplug that. That's part of me living, right? And Mike, thank you for the other day. Mike told me, "Do you have a day off?" when we talked, and I told him, "I don't really know if I ever took a day off." So I got in Cartagena, I took a day off, which was given to us right by our new back end managers. And I was like, "Champ, if you got something to do, just go ahead and do it." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go with my wife," and I took a day off, and my feet got taken advantage of. And if you weren't on the call yesterday, you just wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I know what it is. Most of y'all.
Only feats.
Only feats. All right. So, all right. So when you're young, think about it. You heal quick. I see that with my children. They get a cut, they break a bone. They haven't broken anything, but they get hurt, they heal like instantly, right? Because the cells, oxygen, everything is at its strongest when you're the youngest. You sprain an ankle when you're an adult, forget about it. It's like a grade 9. You would think that you would never walk again. You get a paper cut and you're like, like you don't realize how much you use your hands, like the little stuff that happens to us. And this tells you how your body is reacting to, that's an indication of your health, not your age. Let's throw that shit out the door, guys, because Barbara's on here right now at 80 some years old. I have people way younger than her that are struggling to figure this thing out. And she's trading. She was there when we got her in the beginning, and this ain't easy. It wasn't easy for me. And she stuck with it. And now I don't even really hear from her. Barb, we need to talk. I need to hear from you. So she's our oldest. And for those of you who don't know, she's our elder, probably the oldest student that we have at the academy. And she's been one of the longest standing ones that's still on the call today. She's right there. All right. So you get to this. All right. So now you get into period 2. We call period 2 what? The reproductive period, right? So this is where we have stem cells, but they start to lose the potency. All right. So the reproductive period is the balance of stability. 50, 51, 52, it starts to shift. At 40, I had a big shift, not physically, mentally. You start to think, damn, I'm halfway there. I joined a men's basketball league. I mean, I wasn't even in shape for that. Defensive player 2 years in a row. It wasn't no joke. I was playing against college kids, dudes straight out of college, and then ex-guys that were like, I have no pedigree, but the will to just destroy. So if to get defensive player of the year, that means you have to do the absolute most that nobody wants to do. And that's what I did every night. And I was in pain. I was night sweats because my body was just overworking. And it was just one of those things where and my wife used to come with the kids, and it was Lifetime Fitness, and they made signs, and I won a championship finally. Like, all of it happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if they remember anything, it was that, I went to battle. You know what I'm saying? I seen guys tearing meniscus, MR, like all sorts of stuff happening. And that was my biggest fear, but I didn't focus on it. Like, dudes were blowing out their knee in this thing, and I'm not in shape, and I'm balling. All right. So now when you get into this reproductive period, everything is like this net balance. Stem cells go down, blood vessels start to decrease, oxygen to the cells start to go down. Natural order of process, right? Keep in mind, guys, this is not even about all the stuff that is going on that they're doing to us. If you believe that they're doing something to us that's outside of the natural order of things. So we have things out here. It's not your diet. Just like, I don't care how good you are. Like, you go out there, they pull the mineral out the vegetables. I don't care if you're a vegetarian. You're just not getting it if you're not growing your own food. It's the only way you can know what you're eating is by either you growing it or you knowing that, or trusting who you're getting it from. And then you have all these air pollutants that we don't know about, but they're talking about, but nobody's telling us what exactly it is and how it affects us, and ways that we can go ahead and just clean ourselves up from time to time, whether it be parsley, write it down, right? A whole bunch of regular herbs that you cook with that you can turn into a tea that can pull metal out of your body.
Facts.
Rosemary, you name it. And
It's a lot,
that's
bro.
when I had the garden at the house, that was the thing that I kept, because that 199 for 2 strings ain't it. These things grow like nobody's business. Then in the springtime, what happens? Nature gives us dandelions. You know what they call them? Monsantos in them? Weeds. Dandelion is probably the most potent thing. And the reason it comes out in the spring is because that's when the pollen and all the allergies and stuff that's to come out. So it's like, hey guys, I'm here if you want to do something with me. Dandelion root, you take that whole dandelion. On our property, we tell them do not spray. They can still keep spraying. Monsantos, death to them dudes. All right. So I don't know if YouTube keeps this up, but it's going to live.
We still rocking and rolling.
Straight up. Champ, keep a copy of this too.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're in this reproductive net balance, cells down, blood vessels decreasing, oxygen and cells start to go down. Injury to the skin no longer heals quick as if you were a child. Can we all agree on that? Drop a 1 in the chat just to make sure I'm like not bugging.
Yeah, no, you definitely ain't bugging. They all on. Yeah.
YouTube, you drop a 1 in your chat too.
Shout out to Iceberg Ferg and Mr. Javaron Groves. I know Mr. Groves is a member, but big love for the support over there, man. Appreciate y'all.
We made some money.
Absolutely.
I get a lineup.
Yeah. You can get a cut.
All right, I'm going tomorrow.
Massage.
My feet done too?
And a massage, yep.
Oh, and a massage. Perfect. All right.
Yep.
It's like $20 out here, so I'm good. All right. So as things start to go down, the body, it creates this thing called a bottleneck. So if anybody knows about a bottleneck, what does a bottleneck create? More bottleneck, more blockage.
Yep.
Right? So if the organs aren't hitting correctly, it's going to affect another organ. That's just how it works. All right. So now you have 3 major causes of aging. All right. Once you open one bottleneck, it's a never-ending story. All right. So the remaining I can't even read my handwriting, but I'm gonna get y'all. Hold on. And the van was moving like nobody's business too. So on top of having bad handwriting, he was rocking. And he was so intrigued by how locked in I was that he kept looking at me, and I kept saying in my head,
watch the road, bro.
Whatever higher power, just watch the road. That's how interested he was in what I was doing. He felt the energy. I sat in the front seat. I didn't want to be around anybody. All right. So the remaining health. Got it. Here it is, guys, the bottleneck. So if you are needed in life, remember I told you, the other animals in nature, when they're no longer needed after the reproductive phase, they either get eaten or they die. So if you're not needed in life and you stop growing, this is the age of wisdom now. Some of us might get it, some of us might not. I'm not here to judge who has it or not. It's a download, that's all. If you're needed in life, you biologically tell yourself and your body that I'm needed because you're growing and that other people need you also. And the body would do everything it can to keep you living. So when I went through Tony Robbins, and I told you guys this before, this is one of the main reasons outside of my wife that changed and shifted the way I thought about health and everything else in life. There was a story of the guy that was working with Tony that's kind of probably going to take over, and he helps him because Tony's about to lose his voice and stuff. He said his mother was diagnosed with cancer, whatever, and then the doctor told her, the doctor told him, well, she has X amount of time to live. He said, I need one thing, do not tell her that. Because once they tell you that, the belief system then buys into that, and people either die before or exactly on that time frame. She ended up living 4 more years after. Then my wife told me another story of a child who had some sort of ailment. They just couldn't deal with it, and it was done, right? And the child's last wish was, listen, just roll me outside. So they rolled the child outside of whatever facility they were in. The child's still living to this day. It was the son. So I'm telling my wife something's going on with the sun, because the last time I came to Colombia, 8 days shifted my intestinal, my digestive system, everything. And then when I went back home, every meal I had, I felt sick immediately. And that was 8 days. But I drank coconut water like I was climbing those trees, right? So you have a mixture of that with the sun, and the sun, we're closest to the equator. So it's a different type of sun. So part of leaving America too, guys, it's a matter of life and death. Not forcing y'all to do anything. I'm just telling y'all. It's a message. I have major purpose to be around. Even when I think of certain things, I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen to me because people are relying on me. I still have unfinished business to do. So that's why I don't really buy into like, oh, don't do this, don't wear that when you're, I'm like, what? I'm not putting this fear stuff around me, man. Like, yo, if you want it that bad and I attracted that, then you can have it. But let's have a conversation first. I come from that school of thought, right? Like Champ would say, stay low, keep firing.
They low
What you
key.
put out is what you receive. And I'm not saying that things don't happen, but I, I kind of know my story. It ain't that. So if you're needed, the body would do everything it can to keep you around because you're elevating, you're growing, all things. Now, if you have a plan, the biology has a mission. I cracked it. I cracked it. Because the way I'm feeling right now, this euphoric feeling, I've had some great times in my life that were attached to concerts. Most of it really would be just being with my wife. Good dinners, good conversation, fun, right? And then before her, Vegas, Miami with the guy, fun, right? Boats and yachts and everything, anything I want, I can have, right? I come from that school of thought. So, but the way I was feeling today when I got out of this chamber, I'm just like, why do I feel like this was the best time ever in my life? Felt like a reborn, right? I've locked away a lot of emotions. I've been honest with you guys to say that I've been shedding a lot since I've been here. And I've been telling my wife all the changes that I feel and can physically see in my body. And I'm like, if I tell people this, they won't believe it. I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing that. But again, here, if you're needed, if you have a plan, your biology has a mission, it will work to keep you. No future, you get lost. No more triggers, no more reason to keep you alive. And that's why people stop. I saw a thing on Instagram the other day where there was a guy that said, what is the greatest gift? And it was a short, so I didn't go into the whole interview. And he said, honestly, he said, the greatest gift in the world is parents who have children in the house that are able to still enjoy them.
Damn.
Y'all know how I feel about my family right now. I'm ready to leave this trip, but part of me wants to leave and part of me wants to stay. If they decided to stay as a collective, bro, I'm like, perfect. Switch it over. You know what I'm saying? But we're here. We're not looking to leave America or none of that right now. There's a journey and we're just being obedient, like my wife would say. All right. So I say all that to say, you either manage yourself or someone else manages you. Those statements could resonate. This conversation is not just about health. It's about even what I've been seeing. I have never interacted with so many humans in my life. I was always able to pick and choose who's around me once I got out of school. I don't just talk to people. I've been getting all these like Capricorn, that's my sign. These sayings online. You start to follow your astrology sign and who you are, good, bad, or indifferent. There's things like, man, if you're good enough to have a live call with me or be able to be in my presence, and it's not about my ego. It's just what a Capricorn is. We don't give it to everybody, right? So if you're blessed enough, because I don't make the time, then it means that you're special to me. Not that I'm doing anything. It's just I decide where I put my energy. Right. And as I get older, because of my mission and purpose, I can no longer do things that even the guys I love from the past just doesn't serve me. You know what they do? They stay away. And like my wife says, there's two things the sun can do. It can create life or it can destroy things. You either manage the disease or you manage the health. The hardest part about managing the health is you have to make changes that go outside of what you were taught. Because when we first learned health, what's the first thing you could think about? That pyramid with that milk and the dairy and the like, and then they flipped it upside down and they just keep messing with us. Where is it now? Sideways? Is the chart still even existing? Then it's oat milk, it's almond milk, it's that, this, that. I'm like, nah, indigenous people don't live off of that stuff. As I go through these villages, I'm paying attention. I'm not speaking, but I'm watching, I'm feeling. And I'm like, that child can't be vaccinated. And there's no way he or she was born in a hospital. But somehow we stressed out about life. Somehow we don't have enough. I don't think y'all traveled. to know what not having enough is. And I'm not trying to sound cliche, but I really feel like I cracked part of Da Vinci's code in my purpose of being here. Because it ain't to talk about crypto. No, that's not what I was put here for. It was really just to get an audience, because it's not a topic that's like great. I'll be honest, 95% of you probably stay here month to month to give Champ and I $50 a month and maybe even $1 for that went a little bit beyond, because of just who Champ and I are. Because I be telling Champ like, yo, cut it. I don't want to hear no more. Because he go down that hole and I'm like, our bags are packed, man. Like, but we have to do it because we're professionals.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just the journey and why we even came together. And then it's growth, because we do a lot of health talk too. And then we do a lot of mindset. We do a lot of father talk. Like it goes down the gamut. So I'd rather spend more time growing with my guy as opposed to like having beef over work.
Right.
Because that's where all our tension comes from, is like, he see it one way, I see it the other way, but it's like, that's just, that shit don't really matter like that.
We just
But we
change.
got to get on the same page though.
Yeah.
So at some point we got to agree to disagree, and then something just has to be made. There's no coin toss. It's just like absolute, let's go. Wisdom, knowledge. I live. Champ will tell you all the time, listen, this guy, it's been because of my history, not my ego. I've done a lot. Like, I don't think y'all realize what it takes to like have a family, not know where the next dollar is going to come from. It's one thing when you're young and you can do whatever. Yeah, I blew it. I had this car. I had that car. I had this car. I had cars that were like, okay, cool. And then when it gets real, then you're like, oh shit, life don't work like that. There's no paychecks. There could be 6 months of zero, and then there could be that 1 month of like, and then back to the drawing board again. It's never as consistent as people make it seem, especially social media. And the thing about these young kids, the 20, 30, all these influencers, is they ain't reached that age of enlightenment. I love everything they're doing because shit, it's all gas for them. And if I would have had the internet growing up at the time where I started to make money in commerce, shit, I'd run circles around these guys. It's an ultimate cheat code, but it's why you see them burning out, because the minute it gets taken from them, I'm a strong believer in this, and there's a lot of businessmen that say that you have to, there's 3 major things in your life that happen when you're on that entrepreneur journey that rocks you, whether you lose people, you lose business. And I've lost every business that I've had. I've never been able to exit one business with a sale. It's always been like, oh shit, tech took that, move on. Tech took that, move on. That's why I'm like, now I'm coming for that tech money, because I have enough of the time and market knowledge and wisdom. I'm able to do things in real estate because people are like, oh, how long you been doing real estate? And I tell them, they're like, in their mind, it's like they'd rather listen to a guy that's been in it for 40 years, but I run circles around the guy because I'm so intuitive. I'm not doing real estate because I love doing real estate. I just love solving problems. They doing it for a check. Am I flipping houses now, Champ?
Nope.
Can I go back into it?
100%.
Anytime I want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm just picking up tools as I go along in this journey of life, and I'm having a good time doing it. And sometimes it's at the detriment of like, and I do not have money for too long either. Trust me on that. I have a gift. I have a gift. My wife would tell me, you go wide. Some people go deep. And I'm starting to go deeper into what I'm telling you right now, the managing disease versus managing health. And the reason why it's important is because when they say no wealth, no health, no wealth, I fully understand what it is. Because at the end of the day, every person's wish that's on a dying bed is one thing. And there's never been one guy on earth to say, I wish I would have made more money. I wish I had more time. That's the one thing about these Zionists and these people that are controlling the world, is that they can't control time. But the closest thing to controlling time is what? Controlling people.
Controlling people, yeah.
So what's Professor D's line, Champ?
Sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up.
No. The very first line before that came. The one that started everything before we met.
Whoever controls your mind controls your time. Whoever controls your time controls your mind.
Another backdrop. There was a reason why I resonated so deeply with that lady. I never had those teachers that like put things out there and breathe life into me, man. I had white women telling me, yo, you should go to the services and you know, you're just not gonna, it's not gonna work. They're right. They were right. The traditional sense of me going to work inside of an office in a cubicle, no way.
Mm-hmm.
They never saw the genius in that. It was more like, man, this guy has ADHD. You know, this kid doesn't pay attention. It's like, no, I was just not going to be indoctrinated into a system. I wasn't an F student. And if I wanted to make A's, I could have. I just did what I wanted to do. I see that in my daughter now. She has that gift. That's why we don't pressure grades. What? Man, did you give it your all? No. All right, cool. Then that's the end result of what you put in is what you get. But nobody cares that I wasn't an A student in school. Somehow people are paying attention. And now I'm a teacher. Riddle me that one. Can't make this stuff up, guys. So the importance of this is we're about to enter an age of what they call the great wealth transfer. If anybody's positioned correctly, you're going to have more wealth soon than you ever had before from an investment, because we know this is the next investment class. Now, if you don't get your shit together, you know who's going to benefit from it? Whoever your offspring is.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have fun with that money. And if you didn't teach them how to get to that wallet, guess what? They ain't even going to know you had it.
Cook.
So not only do you secure the money, but you better have a next of kin who knows how to operate it. And you need to start growing the next generation into understanding what this technology is. Because that you'll do your lineage and the people around you. And that's not what we put here for. Because if I see a fork in the road and I know that if you go down that road, something's going to happen to you, and I'm selfish enough to let people go down that road, then that's not what I stand on. I'm not that guy. That's why I'm not him or them. I don't need the biggest following. You know, these guys, when I used to, you know, kind of reach out and do connections and people be like, yo, you need to whatever. And they go look in and see a little 1,000 people and followers. They like, nah, that ain't it. Because they only focus on the money. So you never had time to really resonate with who the person was and what that message was. Because some of the biggest leaders that move crowds didn't have social media. Mm-hmm. But somehow they orchestrated marches all across the world. How? I'm him. I just realized that. I'm him. I knew it, but then people throw words around like ego. No, I'm him. I say humble things like, oh, the table's round. Nobody knows whatever. No, I'm him. It's still round, but I built the table. So take it for what it's worth. We enter this age with money. Money's not going to heal all things. So when I tell you guys, you don't wait to make the move, you start to make the plan now. So that way, when the funds come, you're not caught up in what this country has taught you to do, which was condition us to do what? Be super consumers, consumerism. Now you got a phone that knows everything, every propensity. You pass the store, they send you a text message. I land in Medellin, I get a text message. I go to Cartagena, they're like, oh, you came to this restaurant last time. We have a special for you. I'm like, what? Oh, wow, that's pretty powerful. But I'm not doing that today because I'm him. I have free will, with money, without money. I've always had free will. I always will have free will. So my only gift to you guys at this point, it's not H-bar, it's not this, it's not that. It's really just y'all watching me on this journey and this ride. And that's the only reason y'all show up every fucking week. Mm-hmm. It's not the projects. We don't even give them out like that anymore. But there's more and more people that are resonated with it because I'm him. He's him. That's what the Academy is about. So I'm not selling cryptocurrency. That's not what we do. It's digital sovereignty. That's the next move. Because I come from the school of thought that if we're not all free, none of us are free. And I don't care how much money I have. I don't care how high I can sit above sea level because I've seen it. And it's all attainable. But somehow I still sit with the people. My wife could get on here and come off mute and tell you, like, and she used to drive her crazy. Like, yo, every time we go somewhere, this guy wants to go to the hood. California, take me to Long Beach. People aren't comfortable like that, but I always know where the people are at. And I was one of those guys who could have been a castaway. No, let me eat with the people along the side of the road because that's the person that's putting love inside that food. And I've never got sick off the side of the road, but I've gotten sick at high-end restaurants, on resorts, bubble guts. Trust me, that's happened to a lot of people. But we're so conditioned to think like, oh, because that's whatever. And that's why these guys sold us on a bill of sales that wasn't worth anything because you thought because he had money, he was him. I'm him. And I don't got nothing but some information. So if you're going to allow yourself to be defined by what you do, and I'm talking about career wise, you're going to find yourself falling short because in the next 4 to 5 years, most of what you do will not even exist. So what you going to do? Mirror, on mute.
Well, let me find it real quick.
And if I logged off the internet today, I'd be happy with this one.
Facts. Good sis.
Hey,
Live and direct.
And this is my wife for all you who don't know. She's her. Straight up. I told her she could rewrite the Bible because it's got to be written over again. Great story when it's old.
yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Should. She's writing it. It just won't be called a Bible. That's all. We just not using. What you got?
Oh, what do you mean what I got?
Come on, man. You always got words.
Um, I was enthralled in he's him. I was enjoying the dot connect.
Oh, okay. I just thought maybe you had a couple words for people. I know
You
you're
got it?
way about humanity.
Yeah, people are suffering from blue light syndrome. The cognitive capacity is diminishing at a rapid pace, and it's becoming quite frustrating for the thinkers and the visionaries and the people who just still care about people. That's just been my experience lately, and my frustrations. So, but it all serves as a purpose to just keep fueling us to build what we're building. It's about wellness, it's about sovereignty, it's about, freedom of mind and spirit. And right now, it's under attack, more than ever before. I'm starting to feel the pressure of that. And I'm just glad that you stood up to build what needed to be built so that we have the community to come together and gain strength from each other so that the people who are still kind of the quote unquote adults in the room don't become jaded by the shifting that's happening right now. The shifting is shifting everybody, it's shaking up everybody. And it could be very easy to lose hope in humanity and just acquiesce. But with Skyton and with everything that you're doing and the space that you and Champ are holding, it's it's necessary. It's nourishing, and it's providing so much more than just crypto or financial education. So I'm enjoying it just as much as every other student on this call right now. I don't know what it is you wanted me to get on here to say, but the energy is needed to be felt. It's potent. It's impactful, and I'm proud of you.
My man.
Them 3 words, man. Man.
All right, you want to talk about crypto?
Hell no. Not even in the least bit. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this little nugget. Mira, I appreciate you for saying that. For those of you who do not know, yes, that is Steve's wife. Mira is a close friend to me, and without Mira, we wouldn't have this academy, right? Between Mira and Chow, those two put this puzzle piece together. I promise you. Me and Steve had no clue who each other were. I remember seeing Steve after like years in a photo, right? I hadn't seen Mira probably in 10 years, probably, maybe even longer. And I seen a picture. I don't even know where I was. I don't even know if it was Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I seen a photo and it was Steve in the picture. And I remember looking at that picture I like just a proud friend. Like, you get that feeling like when you see something like kind of materialize and it's just a family thing. I don't know. I'm kind of sentimental like that. But I remember looking at the photo and it hit my heartstring. You know what I mean? So to see it, I'm like, damn, that's amazing, man, to see my people just have a beautiful family, good synergy, good relationship. Like, and you could just see it through the photo. And it just so happened months after seeing this photo, Chow calls me. He's like, yo, you and Steve got to get on a call. We get on a call. Literally, the phone call was like 10 minutes. And it was it. We built Skyton from that point. Like Steve had the vision already for it. I was just the link to it. I was getting ready to leave and go back overseas. Steve was like, yo, you got a decision to make. And I remember him saying one thing. He's like, man, don't go. He's like, but I can't tell you what to do as a grown man. He's like, yo, you think
But
you, you
give
got
the proper context though, because it wasn't from a selfish space. It was more like we were at a pandemic, and it's like, do not leave your family.
leave your family. Yeah, yeah, real talk. Yep.
That was the starting point to it. It was more like, do not leave your family out here, because I know what it was like and what I did during the pandemic. Like my wife knows she couldn't. Nobody can go nowhere. I'm dealing with this. I wake up early. They had the line, certain time. The elderly, they were letting them go first. I was right there. Nobody was beating me to the store. And I
Yeah.
look back at it, the whole thing was ridiculous, but I was moving precisely, and I just didn't need them in battle like that
Yeah.
because I know I'm coming back home.
And that's real because that was one of the main reasons why I had such a strong urge to want to be back here in the States. I missed the entire pandemic personally. I was in Afghanistan the entire time. So my wife and my son was here experiencing this, having to go to the store, having to deal with people, having to wear masks, just all the things. And it's like the protector, you know what I mean? The enforcer. I'm not here to do my part, right? Outside of assist my helpmate. Like it's wild. So, times like this, I understand these calls a little different than anybody else because I understand this is bigger than money. The reason this whole thing was formulated was it had nothing to do with money. We never discussed cash ever. It was only about what we could do, what information we could bring, how impactful this could be, and we did it. We built it brick by brick.
And there was no money to discuss. No one would even pay $20 for it. We $9.99. We were trying everything.
Yo, how many people used to be on these calls, bro?
5, and that was including me or you.
Yo, YouTube right now, YouTube at 50. We over here, a buck 40, buck 30 over here. Like, come on, man.
And somehow Shannon Sharp got viewers. And it's not even him. I don't fault him. I'm just looking at humanity. I'm just like, oh, okay, you just got to put on a show.
Or
I've talked to Champ about this. I'm like, yo, you want to twerk? And he's like, I ain't cut from that cloth. You know what I mean? Like,
hell no.
you know, dance on TikTok to get the message out. And we like, we ain't really them dudes like that because I'm him.
Straight up.
So you get, to kind of close out, you get caught up in the material things, and then you start to think that because somebody looks a particular way or portrays themselves a particular, especially with social media, that they might hold the key, but you're only interested in what they have because that's what's defining not only them, but that's what you feel is going to define you. But I can tell you, the new flex is having a hyperbolic chamber in your house. Michael Jackson was on to something. I'm like, damn, he slept in this every day? Shit. Let me get 2 of those.
Word.
So this wellness situation was always a vision that my wife had. This I can't take no credit for this. I'm just whatever she wants, she can have, man.
Word.
Whatever she wants, she can have. And I mean that. And this is the journey we on right now. So today was such a pivotal point because she had pieces, I'm not there, and then she gave them to me, and then I had a story in pieces, and she's not here, and then it's like we're putting it all together, and we have this place, this thing that we're creating. And even if you don't make it, is guys, it just everything we need is within us, man. There's nobody from the outside world that yes, everybody holds a piece, but it's your canvas, man. Paint it. Like paint outside the lines. Don't paint on the canvas. Paint on the floor. I don't care. Just keep painting. Keep creating. Stop telling yourself, oh, if I had this, the universe would never repay a person that could utter those words. Might get lucky once or twice. I love the hustle. I don't even identify with that word, but that spirit I have was built off of like things I can't even repeat today. I used to think, this is my, it's the old karma I'm still paying back, but I'm him, man. It wouldn't be this if it wasn't for that. And I'm not ashamed of none of it.
Facts.
Clip it, and then we can take some calls. YouTube, listen, I appreciate y'all. Every dollar, just shows how much just full of gratitude when I see things like that. And it's not to encourage anybody else to do anything. It's just I was here to deliver a message to you. I didn't need anything in return. Shit, we never do. I think we have more hours than well, we kind of doing all right now. But we have a lot of hours clocked in that people don't even have the bandwidth to go to it, which is why we created the Crypto Intense. Champ just shot a wild Crypto Intent. Go check that out. Just follow our YouTube channel, keep notifications on. Go look at that Crypto Intent once we get off. A lot of information in there. And the reason that we went to 10 minutes is just because of the bandwidth. Like, nobody's that interested in anything. It's on demand. It's like now we're entering an age where everybody can create content. And I'm like, all right, cool. I love where we're going, but then I'm like, we need more things to keep us distracted from like what really matters. And hopefully good content lands on you at the end of the day. That's all I would ask for. And I'm not on this high horse, guys. I do watch. If you in my circle, I send out little funny stuff here and there, and I'll have so in the last 2 days, I've laughed harder than I've ever laughed before. Champ, right or wrong?
Facts. Never. This is like rare form.
Right. And then today I'm like, and I came out here to get that childlike Steve again. Right. You get older, everything starts to get serious and all this. And then you're thinking about the stuff you don't have. And then it's like, ah, man. And it's like, that's why I don't play on the emotions of the market at all. I don't care if the price is up or down. I'm gonna stay even kill. Because the things that make you laugh make you cry. So if you learn anything today, it's either you're gonna manage yourself or somebody else is gonna manage you. You either cope or you heal. Whatever you decide to do is your choice. And if you don't decide to do anything, it's gonna be made for you anyway.
Real.
If you got an outro for us, I'm here for that. If not,
do I got an intro? This is me, man. Bar for bar, unseen. You want one? You don't need one, but do you want an outro?
You felt what we did, and if you feel like you got something that's going to take that last wrinkle out of this situation, and you him, then
let's do this.
If you him.
I've been him. Cough different. Let's get it. Right. Family. What Steve just shared with you guys was not a theory. It wasn't about numbers. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't another lesson about the markets. It was life. This was a soul speaking to souls. If you truly heard what he said, you now have a responsibility, each and every one of you, to yourself, to your family, and to your future, to see life through a different lens. To understand that the greatest gift isn't hidden in some distant success. It's in the breath that you're taking right now. It's in the children that you can still laugh with, the parents you can still give hugs to and embrace, the health you guys can still nurture, the purpose you can still walk in. This is bigger than money. This is bigger than Nino Brown. Money can buy you time on a calendar, but it cannot buy you meaning. What Steve gave to us tonight was basically a reminder that meaning is found in how we live, how we love, how we show up for one another with intention through demonstration every single day. So take this as a charge. Stand taller, walk stronger, operate in purpose, choose to manage your health and not your disease. We don't claim those. But what we do claim is to live life to the fullest, love loud, and move as if every single moment matters. Because it absolutely does. This is .Connect 106.
Love. Just keep it rolling on the Q&A and we could chop it. I just want you two to be able to hear some things on the live.
Bet. So I'll
I have one ask of you guys. Share this if you can. That's it. Just share it. Whatever platform you have, I don't care if it's one person or 10 people, just share this. Damn, you smoked that.